Hey everyone, this is Walter. It's Christmas morning as I begin writing this script, and we're here to talk about our good friend Russell Greer. Because what else would I be doing on Christmas? This man is mostly known for unsuccessfully suing Taylor Swift and a number of other people and entities. In fact, attorney Greg Skordas has offered to defend anyone Russell tries to sue, because it must be fun owning him over and over again. Let's get started with Russell Greer's book, Why I Sued Taylor Swift. Let's begin by reading a few social media posts from around the time. So after a hard night's sleep, I've decided that I won't be shutting down my Facebook, but I will be carefully selecting what I share with people. Also, I'm going to be transitioning from this to WordPress, because that platform is more suitable for my venting needs. I have also made it to where random people can't send me friend requests. I do have the follower button for followers. All past posts I have limited to only friend visibility. As for random losers laughing at every post I write, whatever. I can't do anything about that. I have to say that adding the emoticon button was the worst mistake Zuckerberg and Facebook made. Those buttons devalue serious posts. So he pretty much fled from Facebook because people were giving him the haha react, which just made them want to do it way more. I do like how his profile picture was the one with Ariana Grande, where he eventually decided she looked like she wanted to behead him. I guess you would want to use a picture you paid $1,000 for. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I have been calling crisis hotlines, texting hotlines, saw a counselor who says I have signs of PTSD. Taylor Swift has messed me up. I invested 2 years trying to impress her, based on her representations. I went through slander, and still am, for her, faced threats of violence against me for her, invested all of my money and time for her because of her representations, became the subject of international news for her, and now I am ruined. No joke, I have insomnia. Her family disability shamed me. Her agents kicked me in the jewels. And Taylor stabbed me in the heart and spit in my face. I've tried getting over the events of October to December 2016, but I can't. I cry when I hear her music. I don't know what to do. Don't worry, Russell. I'm sure it's perfectly normal for a grown man to cry when Taylor Swift comes on. And what is it with lolcows and overusing semicolons? I even wrote her personally to her houses, and she sent me a bag of dirt and some sort of glitter bomb / anthrax. So I have decided to file a $50 million lawsuit against Taylor Swift in federal court. I sent her agents a notice today. While the law may be murky as to duty and disclosure with celebrities, though I certainly have found case law that supports me, I will be requesting a jury to decide the facts. Taylor, I loved you with all of my heart, and still do. This isn't some weird stalker attempt or anything. This is me fighting for what I have lost. I still want to work this out. Lawsuit will be filed end of May, around the same time I release the book about the event. I will keep you updated. Imagine working for a crisis line and having to deal with some guy who claims Taylor Swift gave him PTSD. If they didn't laugh at him, they're stronger than I am. Okay, let's get back into the book here. Last time he told the heartwarming story of trying to sue a sex worker and losing. Now to get back into Taylor Swift. Taking Ken's friendly advice to heart, I ventured through the Salt Lake City white pages of the jungle of lawyers who inhabited the city. Surely there would be a lawyer who could help me. Cold calling and mass emailing randomly selected lawyers left me with cluttered rejections in my inbox and wasted minutes spent on the phone. No, I said impatiently on the phone to one lawyer. I'm not drunk. Well, you're slurring like crazy, the lawyer said to me, and then muttered, "Damn drunk," before slamming the phone and disconnecting the call. Another lawyer that I had called listened to my long story of everything already explained thus far in this book and simply replied, "That's one for the record." On another call, the lawyer was a man with a thick Middle Eastern accent, whom I could not understand at all. Fair enough, this man couldn't understand me either. It was the ultimate misunderstood phone call. The foreigner with the heavy accent versus the weird-looking guy who can't pronounce his vowels or his own last name. Eventually, we both mutually agreed to hang up. That is, if we both understood each other, correctly agreeing to hang up. One of the last attorneys I had called literally exploded with laughter after I had told him about my harm and what I wanted to do. These lawyers are pretty relatable. You'd have to think this was some sort of a bit, or nowadays maybe a TikTok trend. It's funny that Russell seems to think his time is more valuable than the lawyers, though. This man continued laughing for nearly 5 minutes straight. I know so because I watched the clock on the wall pass by the 12 with 5 full rotations. "Ah man, you're funny," the lawyer said as he regained his breath. "Now seriously, why are you calling?" Seeing the phone calling was not going anywhere, I decided to step into law firms to meet with the lawyers face to face. The first law firm had a very crabby and grouchy middle-aged receptionist. "Hello," I greeted the receptionist. Do you have an appointment?" she snapped at me. "No, but I tried explaining. "You need an appointment," she yelled. "Okay, can I set one up?" I asked. The lady shoved a calling card at me. "You must call this number if you want an appointment," the receptionist shouted, turning red in the face. I was mortified. I slowly backed away. This was not a firm I wanted to do business with. "I'm okay," I said before she cut me off again. "You can't just walk in here. You have to have an appointment." The lady screamed with a G-force so powerful my eardrums and the glass door almost shattered. Man, everyone is so unpleasant to him in this book. He must realize that he's the only common denominator in all these interactions. He's either really hateable or embellishing, possibly both. After a few more failed attempts at sitting down with lawyers, I finally managed to sit down with an impatient, heavy-set lawyer who kept looking at his watch as I tried explaining the entire incident to him. Being a master at reading facial expressions, his rude gestures made me less keen on continuing my explanation to him, as he clearly thought of me as a rambling idiot. It's not like a lawsuit, if you know what I mean. It's a lawsuit meant to get Taylor Swift's attention to an unfair situation. It's a clear-cut case of negligence and vicarious liability. I tried explaining to the lawyer. For example, Tracy Morgan was recently in the news after a Walmart semi-truck crashed into Tracy's tour van and injured Tracy. Walmart was sued for vicarious liability. Did Walmart do anything wrong per se? No, but the driver was under their employment. Two totally different situations, the lawyer snapped at me. "No, they're not," I replied. "Oh, so you're the lawyer now?" he questioned in a snarky way. "I'm not an idiot, sir. I have my paralegal degree. I got straight A's in college," I calmly explained. "Russell, listing your credentials doesn't change the fact that it's what you're saying that's insane. Imagine walking into a law office and arguing with them over the law like this." And he basically admitted the whole lawsuit is in bad faith and he really just wants Taylor Swift's attention. Why would a lawyer ever accept this client? Well, this isn't a hypothetical scenario on a legal exam where the professor gives you an A for your creative, well-thought-out answer. This is the real world. Any real-world judge is going to look at your case and toss it. The lawyer said heatedly, "Where's the privity of contract? Where's the duty? Where's the fine print that says they have to pass it on? If they pass your stuff on, do they have to pass on everything else from the entire planet? Or are you just entitled?" "I don't even want to sue her," I exclaimed, getting annoyed with the man. The lawyer blurted out laughing. "Then why the hell are you sitting in my office?" This lawyer is spitting facts, and Russell just doesn't see it that way. "Because I found myself in an unfair situation," I told the lawyer. "Life is unfair. I got cut off by another driver this morning. Unfair. Sally wouldn't date me. Unfair," the lawyer mocked me. "Doesn't mean I go sue them." Fuming, I quickly stood up, biting my tongue, and then I left. "Don't go harass any more lawyers with this nonsense," the lawyer called out to me as I walked out of his office. Angry, I sat back in Ken's office, explaining everything with passion. "It's not that hard to understand. Look, I found a law for this," I fervently explained. "Utah Code 75 whatever C. It says the agent shall act with the care, competence, and diligence ordinarily exercised by agents in similar circumstances. That gives me a statutory claim against the agents." Ken nodded his head, listening. "So how do you tie Taylor Swift to their negligence?" Ken asked quizzically. "Simple. This happened on their scheduled work hours, and it is a part of their duties, as prescribed by agreements made with Taylor, like the Tracy Morgan case. Just off the top of my head, maybe also say that Taylor failed to clarify gift policies to her agents. I really don't want to get Taylor in trouble, so I'm mostly focusing on that vicarious part," I explained to Ken. "Okay, then how do you establish jurisdiction?" Ken asked. "Her agents live in Tennessee, Taylor lives in New York, and you're in Utah." "I just cite the Utah long-arm statute. Her agent made several contacts with me, which would establish the minimum contact requirement for jurisdiction," I replied confidently. "Those are just basic things. As I've explained, I don't want to sue her." Slowly, a reassuring expression formed on Ken's face. "Before now, I was starting to think you were crazy," Ken bluntly told me with a smirk. "But now this all actually makes complete sense." Russell is far and away the least reasonable person in his own story. The people who writes in to shut him down are the ones who make sense. Yeah, I think I've established a prima facie cause of action to rightfully bring attention to this situation, I told Ken. This is enough to show that this lawsuit isn't frivolous. Per the law, the agent has to let the principal, Taylor, know of any legal actions initiated against her. Once she sees this, she will try to fix the situation and boom bada bing, I'll dismiss it. This is why I've decided to file the lawsuit myself, because I really don't want to sue her. Check this out. I lifted my iPhone and showed Ken research that I had found. The restatement, 3rd, of Agency 2.04 says that suing under the doctrine of vicarious liability reflects the likelihood that an employed will be more likely to satisfy a judgment. This reinforces what I'm saying. If Taylor sees this, she will fix the problem, rather than me sue the agents head-on. This is why I file in small claims courts, that I don't have to ask for that much money. I don't want any money. I just want Taylor to see my efforts and the problem. I know Ken is probably a fictional character, but Russell's still lying to him here. He decided not to get a lawyer because they kept laughing him out of their offices. We just read that part, Russ. I guess my only concern is, what if she misunderstands why you're suing her? Ken asked. What if this all blows up in your face? Ken raised an excellent question, but I sincerely believed in Taylor Swift as a person, and believed honestly that she would right this wrong. After all, Taylor was portrayed by her actions and by the media as the Mother Teresa of the entertainment biz. Maybe that example doesn't compare well because of age difference. Mother Teresa was 87 when she passed away. Taylor, at the time of this writing, is 27. More appropriately compared, Taylor Swift was portrayed more as the Princess Diana of the entertainment business, who was willing to help those in need. After all, she did pay one of her dancer's niece's hospital bill. What further proof did I need that she would help me out? I wasn't even asking for money. Well, I'll just make sure this doesn't go that way, I confidently told Ken. Before I left, Ken called out to me. Russell's reasoning makes as much sense as ever. Oh, she did something nice for someone she knows, so of course she has to meet some creepy fan off the internet. Those two things are exactly the same. Even though you're filing this yourself, Ken started. And even though I can't give you legal advice, I really do want to hear how this goes. Keep stopping by. And then Ken flashed his trademarked grin. For 2 weeks, I typed and studied and worded the lawsuit carefully to ensure that I was clear the lawsuit wasn't against Taylor Swift per se. The lawsuit was against her agents, and I was bringing awareness to what they did and how they acted. I decided to sue Taylor for $7,000, not because I wanted that money, but so I wouldn't get fined for filing a frivolous lawsuit if I jotted down $10 for the amount asked for, though that would be more clever and less aggressive. In all actuality, I had suffered roughly that amount from all the work I had put into the gift and the mental anguish her agents caused me. If Taylor reached out to me, I was willing to drop this. The what if this pisses Taylor off scenario hadn't really occurred to me, and I didn't really expect that scenario to happen because I honestly believed Taylor was a saint. She seemed to have a love for all people and creatures. She had a light about her that I was hypnotized by. I could imagine her receiving the lawsuit and being astonished at the things I had alleged, and immediately calling me up and asking to hear the song I wrote for her, ashamed at her agent's conduct. It was a flawless plan. Yeah, why would someone be mad that you sued them? I'm sure most relationships start with a lawsuit. And I'm not calling Taylor Swift the worst person in the world or anything like that, but hasn't it always been pretty obvious how fake her public image is? Sometimes I think Russell needs a caregiver or something. The time had finally arrived for me to file the lawsuit. It was mid-October of 2016. Confidently, I walked through the security of the Salt Lake City Justice Court building and made my way towards the small claims filing office. A woman, who was a court clerk, stood on the other side of the counter, protected by bulletproof glass. I explained to her that I was there to file a lawsuit. With ease, I slid my documents under the glass, and she picked them up and skimmed through the papers. To her bewilderment, she saw who I had named as the defendant, Taylor Swift. The court clerk studied me with puzzlement, her eyebrows raised, and then she proceeded to type in the information that was on the cover sheet of my complaint. Tears began to fill my eyes as I watched the information get put into the computer. I felt guilty suing the woman that I loved and cared so much about, but I knew that this was the only way Taylor would see my harm. Right then and there, the sparks metaphorically began to catch fire to the forest I was lost in. Figuratively, I could hear the flames crackling with each computer button and mouse click the clerk pressed. And then suddenly the timbers exploded in a ball of flames, engulfing the forest. The court clerk had just stamped my document with a court date, December 8, 2016. It had begun. The fire had officially started. The flames were slowly rising, and the smoke would surely be seen by Taylor. There was no turning back. I paid the $150 filing fee, and then took my court documents and left. In a few weeks' time, Taylor would be reaching out to me, and her agents would be scolded by her for their negligent conduct. By law, they had to inform her of the lawsuit, and have her make a decision on her course of action. That's why I was so confident she would settle this matter peacefully, because it would be brought to her attention. God damn, if everyone in the world's always looking at you like you're crazy, maybe the world isn't wrong. Anyway, it's about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you have something to say about Russell or my content in general, let me hear it in the comments. They're good for the algorithm. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more of this series and all the Reddit stuff I usually get up to. Big thanks also to my generous patrons who help by supporting me more directly over on Patreon. Thanks so much. Well, Merry Christmas and all that. Have a great day, everyone, and don't sue women to try to hit on them. Didn't work out very well for Russell.